Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your November and December forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see everybody. As always, we'll do a quick check-in with Apollo, who is peacefully resting in the background. Gosh, I love him. All right, let's get started. This is going to take you through the rest of November and also the rest of this the rest of this year, all the way through December as well. And thank you for being patient. I know that this came out a little bit later in November. I've had a few things going on, massive sinus infection, lost my hearing for a bit. My hand also is giving me some issues, so I've had to rest more. And I try to lead by example. Sometimes you just have to take care of yourself. I don't get sick days here on YouTube, so sometimes I just have to take a break. Thank you for understanding. All right, enough about me. Let's focus on you. Let's get into the channeled messages for today. So what came through was the image of a plant or a bulb growing, and I was watching beneath the surface as all of the roots were starting to form. And oftentimes we judge things only by what we can see, what's above the surface. I think a lot of you have been doing significant work, not just this month, but ostensibly the entire year, to create not just a firm foundation, but a network that's going to take you into the next year, actually. So there's a lot of things that are happening on a soul level, on an energetic level, and I think that this 45 to 60 day period here in front of us is where we start to see some of the growth, some of the breakthroughs, some of the progress. And this is also an instance where your patience, your diligence, and your consistency is rewarded. So if you've had a difficult time, I'm getting this right now, with being like having hope, having faith, don't. Keep pushing. Trust in the vision, trust in the diligence. And I'll try to identify areas where growth is a little bit easier and maybe some where it's been hidden, but it's there. And if there are any opportunities to focus on something, of course, we'll look at that. But if I had to tie this to a single card in tarot, it would be the Seven of Pentacles. In the Seven of Pentacles, there is this desire to see everything happen like overnight, like Jack and the Beanstalk, but it takes time. So keep up the good work. I see that you've been working on yourself, and let's see how and where that work is going to show up and pay off. Let's get started. Before we begin, I always like to start with a protective meditation. So close your eyes, see a circle of light around your body, call in your angel, spirit guides, ascended masters. I'm doing the same here, and we're going to now welcome in the cards. All right, I have to more gently shuffle as I'm doing this because I can't really shuffle, and I'm going to have to select cards a little bit differently, so just bear with me as I have to adjust based on health. So this is the new way until my hand recovers. Try to get everything so you can see it. Thank you for being patient. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with your catalyst energy. So coming through for this month, we have Wild Rose Fairy, and it reads love. This is a time where many of you might be focusing just a little bit more on love and relationships, and also hopefully following through on the things you love and care about the most. And honestly, like through my own life experience, I see that there were instances where I was working hard, not seeing results, and a lot of it was because I just wasn't enjoying, I wasn't connected. And give yourself a chance to start to pursue things in your life that you really resonate with, heart, soul, spirit. When that happens, what you're doing, the work product, if it's a job, or the actual progress, is going to be sped up because it doesn't feel like work. So if you're doing something, try to love it. If you're looking for balance in your life, because work doesn't have to be the end all be all. Sometimes it's a means to an end. You're working to live, not living to work. Then make sure that you're incorporating something that you love, a hobby, a relationship, something that you can do for the world that makes you feel like it's a little bit better because of that. Sprinkle in a little bit of love. That's what the wild rose fairy is saying. The rose piece of this is also really cool because I think of a rose as, it's actually on 2 cards in the major arcana. It's on the Fool and it's on the Death card. And these are basically ends and beginnings. So this month and this 2-month period actually could mark a point where you're exiting out of something and entering into it. It could be happening kind of simultaneously as well. And the rose is also connected to the heart. And so this is a time where you really want to be kind to yourself. Love with a capital L, unconditional love. So I was just going to go over the organization and I realized I forgot 2 cards. So let me add these in and we'll talk about what the structure looks like here. Okay. So this is the month of November. This is December. These are the takeaways for each month. I remember that I needed to add those in. We have karma here. We have destiny here. And then right between the two is a bridge and a block. So let's start off first with karma. This particular card shows what you've been working on, again, over the past year. And this also shows what might be coming through energetically as we're in a period of retrograde between these 2 months that you might want to work on. We have the 7 of Cups in reverse. So what I like about this one is there's possibilities that could come true because we have Aladdin with all of the lamps, but he has to choose wisely. So discernment is always a part of the 7 of Cups, but particularly as this is illustrated. Choose wisely what you decide to invest your time and energy into. Also choose wisely with respect to how much time and space certain things occupy in your mind. This can be preoccupation with what people think, what people say, too much worry about other people and other potential outcomes. So this is encouraging you to really think about what matters in your heart, what matters in your life, and maybe to take some of the white noise that might have previously existed and say, not right now, not right here, okay? A choice needs to be made, and if you've been a little indecisive over the past couple of months, what we're getting gently but also in a clear way from Spirit is it's time. It's time to make a decision that probably under the surface, connecting it with the not with the catalyst, but the channel messages. But under the surface, you've probably already done the work and come to some sort of conclusion that you know where, when, and how to make this happen. So don't second guess yourself. That's the big takeaway, karmically speaking. I was ready to move on to the next card and another download came through. So let me talk about it. If you're not clear on something, it's very difficult for other people to know how to show up for you. It's also harder, let's say, for a synchronicity to come through. When you get crystal clear that you want or don't want something, and when you're crystal clear on your goals, it's so much easier to manifest. So take some time, meditate, and really ask yourself, again, what is the white noise? What is the sort of just the stuff, the cacophony in the head that is taking you away from the 1 or 2 thoughts that you really should be focusing on right now? Let's go ahead and move into the present month, November, and we're going to see what it is you're bringing through. And this has been coming up in the dailies recently, so I feel like there's a lot of synchronicity here. So after years of reading this card, I have a much deeper understanding of what it means now. The first thing, which I think we all understand, is that something isn't obvious. And your channeled message was things beneath the surface, the roots, the network. So this is asking you to go deeper. And this particular illustration, we see she has a bindi, which is a protection and a reminder of the third eye that is always there. So these 2 eyes are closed, but the third is open. You can perceive something beyond what's in front of you. Use your imagination. Lean into your intuition. And it may be your challenge at the present time to help and to guide others to do the same. Because we're in a time right now where there's a lot of distraction. We just talked about that with the previous card. And people stop focusing on certain aspects of their life. It could be their health, it could be their relationships, it could be the goal and how they're tracking to it, their soul path, etc. And so this is a recalibrating moment. It's saying, tune it out for a second. It's okay. Tune it out and tune in instead. And look beyond the present opportunities. It may be more than two. You may have a couple things in front of you and you're like, that's not good, that's not good, I don't really like this. I usually see this as a third or an alternate path that hasn't yet materialized. Maybe it's just coming through the surface, as we were talking about, the roots, and like a bulb that needs to come up in the spring. But it could also be something that you're going to breathe into existence because no one else is seeing it, no one else is doing it. You could innovate. It's not there yet. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's impossible, and doesn't mean that it wouldn't be something that could be quite successful and good. So in your life, in others, this is asking you to step into the unknown. And ambiguity and the unknown is scary, isn't it, right, Virgo? But you can do it. You can navigate this. And this is an encouragement to follow your heart and follow your dreams, because this is a card of dreaming. So the challenge with this is to have faith and to believe in yourself, even when you're not getting the validation. One other thing that I've learned over the years is this can be a lack of someone saying, I see you, job well done. So that validation that we all really want on some level. So let this be your guides coming through saying, even though you don't see it, it's possible. Have faith. As we look at the next card, which is tracking the energy right here, right now, as I'm publishing this, it's pretty good. So we have a card of balance. We have a card of construction when it comes to like legal documents, and also just standing up and deciding. So in this moment, get very clear on what you want and what you don't, and articulate that. And fight for what matters. Justice holds a sword. Justice will fight if necessary. So if you need to basically go for something that feels right, that is right, maybe legitimately it's a legal thing that needs to be sorted out, right here, right now is the time. Yes, as this is being published in November, there's a retrograde, and it percolates into a little bit of December with the shadow and everything. But sometimes in a retrograde cycle, we have to deal with old energy. So if there's unresolved issues from the past, rather, you can still initiate some sort of legal project or case if you need to, even if it's the research portion of it, because it's past energy. And during retrograde, you can review, you can revise, you can resolve, and all of that would be part of this. Now, another more holistic view of the Justice card is to create better balance in your life. So are you working too much? Are you partying too much? Are you sleeping too much? Anything too extreme isn't going to be good. So we're looking for moderation and achieving better balance across all aspects of your life. All right? Justice was upright. So if you do need to fight for something, it looks like you've got your ducks in a row. And I think that that's some of what was happening here. No one else is doing it. You can see it. Someone has to step forward and be the voice of reason. Justice communicates too. Use your voice this month. It matters. I love what I see here in the future state. Queen of Pentacles. She's one of the strongest queen cards. And she's most connected, of course, to that coin that she's holding. Time, energy, money, and resources. During this period of time, because this card came through reversed, there is a gentle nudge from Spirit to focus a little bit more on who you are, what you need, and maybe you're going to decide in this period of time to go back to school. Maybe you're going to take some more time off for yourself. Maybe you're just going to articulate to the people in your life that matter, hey, I would love to do this, or I need this. She's taking care of herself, and she's putting herself first. This is important. There's only so much you can do as a healer, as a teacher, as a parent, as a citizen of the world, before you have to take care of yourself. So thinking of like a seed that's planted in the ground, since we're looking at pentacles, it needs watering, it needs nourishment, it needs time. So do this for you. Take the time to invest in yourself. Whatever that factors out to being in your life. This can also be a decision that it's time to birth, create, or start something. Literally, it could be sort of like the biological clock, and some of you are thinking of expanding your family, but in a more holistic and broader view, this can be just saying, I've been holding on to this, been gestating this idea or this possible version of myself for long enough. I can't hold on to it anymore. I need to plant that seed in the ground, and we need to see the growth happening. Notice the little bunny rabbit in the corner. That represents rapid, fertile abundance. It will happen faster than you think. The moment you let go of it is the moment you get more than you thought that you would need. An indirect quote from Alanis Morissette, but like sometimes we just have to let go. There may be some perfectionist tendencies, Virgo, that are stepping in, and you don't need to worry about it anymore. You've got this. It's time. Are you ready, though? That's the question. All right. Now for that card that I remember that we needed to look at, which is important, the takeaway. So you have one of the best cards here. This is the minor arcana equivalent to the Emperor, King of Wands, like one of the ultimate boss cards in the minor arcana. And I love that we have almost this combination of like a phoenix and possibly a peacock. But this is your moment to step forth and share your ideas with others with passion, and maybe even come up with something that no one has thought about before. The Justice card before this was saying, I'm willing to fight for my vision, for my dream, for my path. And the King of Wands does that. King of Wands encourages you to get a handle on your schedule. He's organized. He's strategic. He's also saying, let's take a look at the next 6 to 8 months. It's hard to go too far out right now because the world is changing so quickly, but at least get a half a year ahead and think, what am I working towards? And how am I tracking to that goal? And then going within, because the Queen of Pentacles was coming through and saying, is that enough? Do I need or do I want something else? And these things are going to help you land where you need to. Ultimately, without even getting into the expanded forecast, what we see is going from like a lack of clarity to a decisive state to prioritizing self and then entering into this next period with boss energy. So it's exactly where you need to go. Building up confidence, getting clear, asking for what it is that you need, and getting it because you've done the work, you've done the homework. You have to believe in yourself, though, when you make that request, okay? Or when you step into the leadership energy. Innovation, imagination, intuition. These are all tenets of the King of Wands. So you've got this, all right? Let's move on to the connecting card between these 2 months. So as you go from November to December, we have Chariot energy coming through. And the Chariot, when reverse, can represent you kind of being behind the wheel and saying, I want to go over here, or maybe I want to go back here and fix that. So you might be taking a right or left turn, or you might be backtracking just a little bit, but with clarity and understanding that once I deal with this, then I can move forward untethered. So if there's anything that you need to sort out, if you're not certain of something, ask a question. If there's a dream or a wish, because this is the dreaming card, what have you been doing to breathe life into that? Okay? There may be challenges to your authority. That's why with the takeaway, we want to get you into that energy of confidence and boldness so that when someone says, are you sure? You can say, yeah, I'm positive because, and then you lay it all out. You've done the work. You've explored the options. You've even maybe explored an option no one else did. Say, not only am I sure, but I found something that I don't think anybody else has, et cetera, et cetera. So get clear, and then when people come through and try to test or ask you questions, they won't get very far because you've done all of the work, again, beneath the surface. It's all coming into focus as we get through this reading. The other thing with the Chariot is someone is either in alignment or they're not. So on the Chariot, there's always usually 2 animals or 2 symbols in the front that represent the way to move forward. You are the person driving the Chariot, but the 2 things, the 2 directions, the 2 people, whatever it is that you're trying to rein in, if one of those wants to go in another direction, so be it. You need to get things aligned. You might need to pull in another person, place, or thing to help you steady the direction, okay? So you can ask people in your life, you can look at activities in your life, and you're like, is this pulling me on my path or pulling me away from my path? And if one of those fish in this picture isn't going in the right direction, we need to let it go, let it be free, okay? The last thing with this connection is you need to know where you're going to. That old theme from Mahogany, do you know where you're going to? That song is coming through right here in my head. So you need to take some time. You don't need to, but I'm encouraging you to. Take some time, particularly in November, so that December will be easier. But take time to meditate and just know what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Then Spirit can show up for you. All right. Right under this, we have a potential block. So let's see what could make this take more time than you want. So we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant represents an arbitrary gatekeeper sometimes that has a rubber stamp approval. You have to go through them. You don't want to, but like they're there. So sometimes it's a boss, sometimes it's a parent, sometimes it's, just literally it could be someone if you're driving on the freeway and you have to pay the toll. You're not going to get through until you pay. That's a gatekeeper, literally. So it can be any number of things. Now, the Hierophant in reverse is you knowing that the old system doesn't make a lot of sense. This may be the last gate that you have to go through. That could be a liberating thought for you. All right, I'll pay the toll this time, but next time I want to go in a different path. I don't want to take the paved road or the pay road. I'm going to take the path less traveled. I might have to pave it myself. I might have to build something, but I'm tired of going through this gatekeeper. This is entrepreneurial energy. The important thing to do, though, is to do the building, do the groundwork. Again, going back to that channeled message, it's important to build out that firm foundation before jumping headfirst into the unknown. Do your research, get your resources aligned. That's why the Queen of Pentacles was so important. And then once you've done that, things can be sped up a little bit, but you can't shortcut the sort of like building phase, okay? Let's move into the second month. So just to help us mark it, we're going to look at December 2025 now, and we're going to go into the first card, which represents the past, and I love what we see here. So if you've been listening to everything that I've been talking about, it's been about clarity and vision so that we can speed up the manifestation. And now we have the High Priestess. And there's a lovely connection here between these two. So this is the genie that we were looking at here. You had to choose. It looks like you're choosing wisely and you're choosing well. Whether you've decided to trust your instincts or to create a path that doesn't exist, this card says you can do it. Not only will you do it, but you're going to do it with a splash here, because the High Priestess can see through the blocks. She can see the opportunities. She just has to trust herself. So do you trust yourself, Virgo? Please, please lean into your instincts right now. They're really clear. Also, don't give up on a dream or a wish. I've walked into situations before, whether it's a new friendship, a job, a living situation, and I just know this is what I want. I'm going to make this work. This is going to happen. I don't know how, I don't know when, but it's going to happen. I'd love for you to get really clear on a single vision or goal or dream and just commit to it. Say, I'm going to make it work. And you will, okay? That's the most important thing. You've laid the groundwork, but there has to be a soul commitment. And until that happens, it just delays the inevitable success that wants to come through. Let's not delay it. Enough with the struggle, right? Enough is enough. And that is a nice note for what's coming through here in the present energy for December. So it's a mutable version of the Ten of Swords because it's reversed. And what's interesting here is, it's kind of a vivid illustration. So we see someone reaching for the boat and someone wants to kind of like use the sword to cut the fingers off. So it's kind of visual. Sorry, the Ten of Swords always is a visual card when it comes to that. It's dramatic. I'll pull the traditional one while we're talking too. No matter how you slice it, the Ten of Swords makes an impact. What it tells you is, in this case, because it was reversed, I've been there. I've done that. I've been through that struggle. I've been through that difficulty. And I don't need to repeat that. I know where the story goes. Also a great song from the 90s. I know where the story ends. So even in this dramatic, somewhat gruesome card in the Minor Arcana, a new dawn is breaking behind this person. Sometimes we need the straw that breaks the camel's back because incontrovertibly, like without a shadow of a doubt, you know on a heart and soul level, I don't like this. I don't want this. Because the High Priestess precedes this, what she's saying here is, I can see it coming. I can see that I might not be able to fight this fight, but I can fight the next one. I can see that I might not be able to get both of these people working with me, but I can get this one and that'll be enough. I can see that I want to fight for this, that I need this for myself. I can see all of this. I'm going to trust my vision and I'm not going to go there. And what there might entail for some of you is overworking yourself. Just like me, where I was feeling certain things in my body. I'm like, I have to stop or this will happen. I won't be able to get back on the horse and I won't be able to do what I need to do. So when I was having all the sinus issues, I had to go to like 4 specialists and take care of myself. With this, I had to keep calling. I spent most of yesterday getting on the phone to get a visit with a specialist to understand what was going on. And it's basically just an overused muscle that needs rest, which is what I'm doing. So I'm using my other hand. I'm changing up the way that I'm working and I'm resting this. Listen to your body. Pay attention to the signs and signals around you. I'd like to show one more card that basically gives you another path here, which is 10 of Swords from the Lightseer's deck. She's been there, she's done that, and she's not going to take the bait. So sometimes walking away is the best path. If you know someone isn't willing to listen, if you know that there's an environment that is toxic, if you know that there's someone who is willing to push you to the breaking point emotionally, energetically, or at work or financially, you just say, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to try something else. And that's why that 2 of Swords a little bit earlier was saying, go within, fight if it matters, but not everything is worth fighting for. There are some things where it's just meant to be released. So this is encouraging you to think about that. It's not always easy, but sometimes it's very, very necessary. Okay, so let's move from the present to future influences for this month of December. So in the future position, we have an auspicious card, the Knight of Cups. There could be good news coming forth. Thank goodness you've been working hard on that. New love, new friendship, new creative energy and input that's coming through, downloads, clarity, all of the stuff that might have been a little bit of a struggle in November, by the middle to end of December, it's gone. And you're through the retrograde period at that point. Plus, this represents a series of celebrations that we have towards the end of December, and into January. So this is also showing that now is a time to focus a little bit more on saying yes to some of those invitations, having some fun, taking time to express yourself creatively. And I really just see things flowing and going in the right direction for you by the end of the month, by the end of December. So I like this quite a bit. So again, the one thing here, though, we look at this particular night and they're having to go through just a little bit of water. So there may be something where there's a little bit of friction. And there were a couple of areas where this friction might be coming from. One is someone just asking you, are you sure that's what you want? Because this represents desires. And you answer yes, because you've done the work, if you believe in it. This could be someone that just wants to control your path, like a parent, a boss, or even a mentor. And there comes a point sometimes when you're ready to go your own direction. And if you're feeling that, just state that. Now let's take a look at your takeaway for the month. I really like the way they illustrated this 10 of Wands. It represents completion, and it's also about putting something else to rest. So we see that skull and the tree is growing through it. There's some burial traditions where sometimes you'll plant a tree over, someone's body, and it represents life and renewal. So almost a little bit of judgment energy, if you will. You can bounce back from any challenge that might be in front of you. This is also the antithesis of this. So the 10 of Swords is burnout and destruction, and this is growth and renewal. And that's why it's okay to say no to something and walk away from it, because you've got something else to focus on. The 10 of Wands is moving on. Oftentimes we see someone carrying a burden. There's no burden in this card. We just see the wands growing upward. So let go of what you need to. Let go and grow. If we had to kind of give it a bumper sticker thing here. Because when you stop carrying the pressure to impress, the burden that other people might give to you, whether it's emotional or psychological or whatever, and you put it to rest, then you can put all of your energy between 2 pivotal cards here. Creativity. Actually, there's 3. So intuition, creativity, and then growth. All of that can happen once you stop fixating on this, okay? Now let's take a look at the destiny. Where's it all heading? Well, in a pretty good place. So we have the 2 of Cups here, nicely connecting to a potential water sign that might be coming through. Also just indicating that a core relationship may be deepening. And by the way, I read the 2 of Cups in a more sort of inclusive way. We even see it here. It could be best friends. It could be lovers. It could be a business partner. It could just be, hey, I'm making a new connection in a group of people and this feels great. I feel like I belong. And find that sense of chosen family and belonging energy wherever it might be in your life. You get to redefine it. The older you get, the more you realize that friends and chosen family are sometimes stronger bonds than the blood ties that we have to the family we are born into. So choose wisely. Again, there could be some sort of cosmic and synchronistic connection where someone comes through and they could just be your advocate, even like an agent or a representative saying, I like you, I see you, I want to help you get this. Are you on board? Let's do this. Be discerning when you look at all partnerships. Make sure they're 50-50, that, or even better, like in your favor, at least that you're getting what you need. This is balance and fairness, and that needs to exist here. Otherwise, you walk away, right? And when I look at the takeaways for both months, they're fire, because we have King of Wands and Ten of Wands. This is your ability to stand up for yourself and to move something forward, and this is the growth that results from this, okay? Beautiful energy so far, Virgo. We're going to expand the forecast even deeper and take a look at health, wealth, and love. So give me a moment to get everything set up here, and we'll see what's going on. All right. Just as before, I'm not going to do a massive shuffle. I did one, and I'm just going to have to let that be enough. And we're just going to pull 3 cards here for health, wealth, and love. Let's begin with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. We have the Queen of Wands coming through, and a very clear message on this. In the background, we see a volcano erupting. This can represent, in health, something coming to the surface. A rash, a hive, inflammation, acne. There's so many different ways things find a way to get out of the body. A lot of times it is toxicity that needs to be released. Sometimes it's a part of your body that just needs to heal itself. Inflammation is the way that the body tries to kind of heal. So pay attention to that. If you see any or feel any inflammation, just like I did, go to the doctor. I got up early this morning and got some information on what's going on here. I felt things that were going on in my sinuses and ears. So anytime you're feeling the pressure or the inflammation, pay attention. I've been lucky enough, because I'm very tuned into my body, to usually catch things early. So the earlier you do something, the better. The heat in your body can also represent, of course, passion, but there also could be like a fever. Some of you might be, going through a seasonal cold, allergy, flu incident. Take care of yourself. Find ways to cool that down. And you can work with someone in Eastern medicine that can help you balance the fire element. And if that's something you're interested in, go for it. But what I'm picking up on is inflammation and things surfacing. And it can be a lot of different ways, okay? And you might just be running a little bit hotter, and that's why maybe it's a fever. Okay, this is also connected to your mind. Queen of Wands thinks a lot. You may be so fixated on something that it occupies all of your time, all of your energy, which we were kind of seeing here with this 7 of Cups. So make sure that you're giving yourself a way to kind of release some of that pressure, that you're not letting something take up too much mental space, okay? All right, now let's take a look at this from a more general perspective. Particularly in the month of November, what I'm picking up on for you is something that may need a second opinion. So like I mentioned, when I was having sinus issues, I had to go to like 4 different people. Keep searching until you find someone that is aligned to you, that has this partnership vibe that we have over here. So karma and destiny work across this. So this is asking questions because something might be confusing. This is finding someone that can partner up and help you out. There also may just be some cognitive focus issues where it's like, I can't concentrate. That could be any number of things, from emotional challenges, hormonal changes, environmental fluctuations, whatever might be going on around you. Try to find a way to, meditation will help with so much of this, but definitely in November, find a way to meditate a little bit more. Creating better balance, important. Again, November is the foundation for December, so prioritize self-care, self-repair, get the balance that you need, and this is going to help you out. There is an avoidable burnout moment in December. 10 of Swords can be the inflammation that we're talking about. It can be someone in your life that gets the better of you and you have an argument. It can be chronic pain or fatigue, and usually acute pain, typically in the back, But because of the way that these are, just like me, it could show up just about anywhere. Pay attention to it, nip it in the bud. Go earlier, don't wait. That's the main thing. You can't ignore it when you have Two of Swords. In this case, early treatment and proactive approach can actually mute this altogether. We see ultimately relationships and support systems in your life being very important, particularly in December. So put a little bit more effort and energy, if you'd like to, in spending time with the people that you love. Ten of Wands, just like the Ten of Swords, is connected to the back. So if you're someone that does a lot of labor, manual labor, or you're lifting or you're moving, or you're just feeling even an emotional baggage that you're carrying, take care of that so that it doesn't manifest in another way. Because sometimes what I was talking about, if it's sort of like a rash or something like that, it can also be exacerbated by stress. So I know some people sometimes will get flush and even kind of get hives or something, right, when they get stressed out. So do whatever you can to alleviate that through meditation. And that's why the High Priestess came through too, because in that meditation, you also get clarity. You can also facilitate natural healing, which is something that I'm working on, and I'll work on this as well. But you have to kind of like go at it from all sides. I like to blend Eastern and Western meditation, also like medicine, I should say, because they can work together. You don't have to sometimes choose one over the other. You can go to the doctor, you can get treatment, then you can work on it from all the different levels, whether it's, going to Chinese herbalist or meditating or working on healing or getting acupuncture. All of these things can work in concert so that the body can heal and thrive. And that's the goal at the end of the day. Okay, that was a great reading for health overall. And again, let's collectively avoid that Ten of Swords moment. Now let's move on to wealth, which is resources, life, purpose, and career. So you have the Page of Swords in reverse. There's a lot of things to break down with this. First of all, do you feel like you're being listened to? Do you feel heard? Do you feel seen? Because if we combine these two cards, they represent that feeling of, you don't see me, you're not listening to me. I have a thought, a question, something that I need to articulate. So a great example of someone who does this in a speech, and I think it's a prime example of speaking something into existence, is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when he had the I Had a Dream speech and basically shared a vision. I think this could be cool. What do you think? Do you want to be a part of this? And he did it with such... He would be more like the King of Swords or the King of Cups in reverse, because it was passion and clarity. And he pushed that out into the world to create change. But it all starts somewhere. It starts with this thought. You could be asking yourself a question, a critical question, constructive question. Why am I doing this? It's a good question, especially when you're looking at your career or your school or your life, whatever it is that you're doing. Does this make sense for me? We have a lot of introspective energy, Virgo, that's coming forth in this period of time. And I think it's because we're at the end of the year, right? So we start to think about resolutions. You're the first sign that I'm seeing the resolutions come through already. So make them now. Why wait until New Year's? The longer you have to sort of like work towards manifesting it, the better, all right? Other things with the Page of Swords. Listen. You can learn so much by just letting someone talk. A lot of times they'll spill the beans and you'll learn something that you wouldn't have otherwise. Hold space, give them a little bit of extra time, let them keep talking, and then eventually say, you can come back with one question that shows that you've been actively listening. Or you can also speak up and say, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I'd like to add to it. And then advocate for your time. Make sure that you get equal time here, because if you're a good listener, then that has to be reciprocated. Otherwise, they're not really ready, right? We're going to break this down into multiple categories. We're going to start off with those of you that currently have a job. If you're employed, here's what I see. We'll focus on November 1st. In November, self-care and balance are very important. But what I also see from a leadership perspective are a couple of challenges. So your boss may not know what to do. There may be a question that is out there where people need some advice. Make sure you vet it with a lawyer. There might be a hidden legal loophole that hasn't been sorted out. Ask questions, because it feels like there might be too many options on the table. There might also be too many cooks in the kitchen, too many people there. Less is more. We just need the core deciding people here, maybe 2 or 3, to kind of like make that final decision. Speaking of that, the question, who's the boss, comes through as I look at this, because the Chariot and the Hierophant seem to be at opposition. And Justice is coming through saying, come on, let's focus. So we need a clear manager that is going to pull all of this together. And we need the big boss to kind of like let all the other people do their jobs. So there might be some micromanagement that you're dealing with. All right. In December, it feels like you've sorted out the vision, you've done some of this work, but there may not be enough resources. Don't burn yourself out. There may be someone that's trying to get you to say something that you don't want to. Don't take the bait. Don't argue. And there might be something that falls apart and it's not your fault at all. Let it fall apart. Sometimes things need to break and then you can rebuild from that. The Ten of Swords, you just don't want to let yourself get pulled into it. That's the main thing here. Trust in your vision. You'll see past this. Stay positive, stay enthusiastic, and stay passionate. All of these things are good. And your ability to partner is going to help you through this. Because if you notice some of these trends, you can get some people together to collectively say, hey, this isn't working. And we all agree that we can do something here. Power in numbers. So do it at a grassroots level. Then you can deal with some of this. And you can decide on your own if you want to stay or go. The good news here is I don't get a big exit sign. What I instead see is leadership and focus, maybe just a lack of vision coming through November, and then not burning out, and maybe delegating, maybe partnering up, so that if you don't have more resources, maybe you can share them more evenly across the people that are around you. And that's pretty much everything here. It looks good overall. The listening and communicating stuff that I just talked about will really help all of you that are employed. All right, so moving on to entrepreneurs. A couple of things here. You really need to take a look at legal structure. So you, looking at the Hierophant in reverse, might be deciding to restructure your business. You may also be deciding to bring in a new person to help out. Vet their background, get the role situated in the right position, make sure that from a compliance issue, that's something I haven't had to think about for a while, but like legal compliance, that you're doing what you have to in your city, state, country, province, or wherever you're kind of residing. Also, get a second person to look at key documents. Something's being missed, or something could be missed. Slow down, review it yourself a couple of times, and get a second set of eyes on that. Now, what I'm looking at in December is interesting because I feel like one person's doing too much. Could be you, could be someone else. We need a better distribution of responsibilities. And I also see this being pretty top heavy because, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there one more? Yeah, 5. 5 court cards. That's a lot of people that are trying to sort this out. So we need to have like an organizational structure and chart in place. So as your company grows, if it's more than just you, really kind of define roles for everybody, including yourself. If it's just you, you need help. Maybe it's seasonal, maybe it's temporary, but you need some help, and that's what I see. Or you need to work smarter. Maybe eliminate some of what you're working on and only focus on the things that are bringing profit and balance. Because we only have one Pentacles card, and it is one that is requesting or requiring more. Take a look at your price points. Are they keeping up with competition? Are they keeping up with inflation and other things that might be coming through your own taxes and matters like that? So balancing it all out could be tricky. If you don't fix what needs to be fixed in November, then it creates this. So legal and financial stuff needs to be sorted in November, and then in December, you'll be all right. Okay? Moving onward to those that are seeking employment. If you're a job seeker, interestingly enough, as we look at both months, there are options. In November, there might be something that isn't advertised. One of the best jobs that I had in my career was one where I just did a cold application and reached out to a company. One of my other really good jobs came because someone else told me about an opening that I didn't know about. Actually, 2 or 3. A lot of mine were word of mouth. And in this weird job market that we're currently in, where so many things are AI, and basically people are creating resumes with AI, and then AI sort of recruiters are scanning those, like the human touch gets lost. If you know someone, utilize that connection, because it could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a colleague, whoever it is that you know that knows someone, lean on that. That's going to be your in. But looking at the month of November, the one thing that I'd like you to be very clear on is come with questions. There may be something that's hidden in the job description that you want to identify, and so come forth with your homework. You can do it, but I feel like you also might need to do some negotiation when it comes to your pay. Something here is not clear, and you might say, I'm willing to do this, but that's actually like one level up. And if you're not going to increase the title, then the pay. And it might be one of those. You might not be able to get both. Pick what's most important to you, okay? People are looking at your leadership abilities, though. So however you've been able to lead people out of a challenge, that's what you want to focus on. December is a little bit more challenging, but as the month comes to a close, oddly enough, you might actually get some traction towards the middle to latter part. Don't sleep on December. I've gotten some of my best jobs at the end of the year sometimes. So even though people might be on holiday or traveling, sometimes you're stuck in a plane looking at email. Sometimes you're bored with family and you got to go back and do something else. You never know when someone's going to read a message. Don't give up. So I'll just kind of leave that with you. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. I think that's it for job seekers. If you need or want to do a little bit of commuting or traveling that could also help you get something, there might be something that requires that. What I do see, though, consistently is so many responsibilities, but not enough pay. So advocate for your worth. That's the big takeaway here. Students. So your work-life balance, your school and life balance are the main focus as we're looking at November, making sure that you're getting enough self-care, enough rest, that you're eating well. I feel like everything when it comes to like the learning process is fine, but there's a couple of things here that are important when we're looking at being a student. You may not feel completely aligned with where your degree is taking you. This is like uncertainty or the unknown. So talk to someone in the field that you want to be in the field that you're studying, and make sure that you still like the path that you're on. If it's too traditional, that you might need to work with a school, like let's say you're looking for schools, you want to find a school where the program might be able to be tailored. Maybe you're someone who's going to do a double major or double minor, or you're going to work with the dean to tailor a program just to you. So ask the questions before embarking on that next degree or that major. If you're undeclared, this can be undeclared or general majors, then you're figuring that out. And so internships, mentorships, talking to people that have been out there, all of that will help. In December, cold and flu season, this is why it's important not to overdo the work or the social activities. It's just burnout. That's basically what I'm seeing here. Don't give up. You're going to accomplish that which you seek. So I feel like you're going to land on whatever test or degree or whatever it is that you're focusing on, but the health piece has to take center stage. Again, take a note from my book. Sometimes you just have to take a couple of days, take care of yourself, change up the way you're working like I'm doing today. You have to adjust. So flexibility is the big takeaway for students. If you're in an environment that is inflexible, then it is going to hold you back. And that isn't something that you can afford right now, I think. Okay? Retirees. Love. What in your life creates that sense of love and growth? It legitimately could be a decision to focus more on reconnecting with your spouse. Or if you're recently divorced or separated or have lost your spouse, you might be looking for new connections. Maybe it's just friendship. I know when my mom had lost my dad, she's like, I don't want to get married again. And I just want to hang out with friends. And so she was clear on her path. Sometimes it is just that networking too. Make sure, it's harder as we get older sometimes to have these friendships and these shared interest sort of connections, but I think that's important. Creative outlets, intuitive work, and religious sort of energy coming through with High Priestess, all of that is where the focus is, and maybe a little bit of travel with the Ten of Wands, okay? Now let's take a look at love and relationships. We already see that Two of Cups is coming forth, but before we get there, let's focus first on the main card for this category. So we have Six of Pentacles, choices and balance. This is your second balance card in this spread. In this one, what we see is limited resources and a lot of hungry mouths. And that's a common theme with the Six of Pentacles. You can't be everything to everyone, and you can't do everything at once. But unlike the Two of Pentacles, you may have a chance to do it over time if you are flexible on the following. Maybe it's the scope. Maybe you decide, this is all I really need or want right now. Forget about that. If you want everything, then you might be flexible on when it happens. All right, I initially wanted it now, but I could do it in 2 or 3 months. By doing this, you can spread it out over time, not get exhausted, not get into that 10 of Swords moment, and still accomplish your goals. Apollo looks so cute behind us. Speaking of love, let's give him a little pat on the head and then I'll break this down. Hey buddy, who's a good boy? Yes, I know. All right, thank you for letting me say hello to Apollo. I had to express some love. All right, so let's start off with partnered. If you're currently in a relationship, here's what I see. The most important thing as we look at the month of November is validation, saying thank you, saying I love you. So the Two of Swords is sometimes this feeling of not being seen or heard. And also there could just be a lot of uncertainty going on. So talk about hopes, dreams, fears, questions. Get it out in the open. Justice is finding balance and standing up for what matters. And ultimately, with these two cards here representing the relationship, one is just bold and moving forward. The other one is expressing what they need and want. This person shows it. This person expects it but needs to articulate it. I know it's frustrating sometimes because we wish that our partner could just read our minds, right? But they're just like us. Sometimes they need things spelled out. But you can do it in a way that isn't bossy. You can do positive reinforcement. Let's say they did an errand for you or something. You could just say, oh my God, thank you so much. I was exhausted. You don't know how much this made my day. So you can reinforce that that was good. You could request in the future after that, say, you know what, that really helped the last time you did it. Could you help again? So you're showing that you appreciate and that it helps. And you're putting that request, like you're putting a little bit of sugar on the request. Same thing, like maybe they cooked dinner or something. Just say, oh my God, I wish I'd asked like months ago. You're amazing. Like stroke the ego a little bit, but also like let them know this is something that I need and want. And it really helped. And even just saying it that way, isn't that nice to hear? Gosh, this is something that just made my day so much better. I can't put it into words. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to do it again. So try it that way because it's showing through validation, which maybe they need. Maybe they don't know that that's something that's really important to you. So let them know. And then if something's missing, if you need help, just say, I'm exhausted. Please help me with this. I can't do it. You can just put it out there in black and white. Okay? That'll help. The other thing that I'm seeing, again, we're in partnered energy here, is don't take the bait in December. Again, this can be an avoidable argument. There may be someone in your life that's also coming through. These are like parental cards or busybody cards from people around you. Someone that's trying to get in between you. Don't take the bait. And if it's your partner and they're aggravated, overworked, etc., take a step back. And you can even just say, what is this really about? I'm just here. I'm your partner. I'm on your side. How can I help you? But please don't yell at me because I'm here to help. So you can set a boundary. You can show that you want to love them and support them. And you don't have to fix it. Just say, do you just need me to listen? Just need a hug? What can I do? That will quickly neutralize that 10 of Swords and get you in a really positive trajectory. And I think you can do it. These are very favorable cards, folks. No matter how we look at anything this month, I don't know why it's just coming through in partnered, but like Knight of Cups and Two of Cups, very favorable. You can work through this, okay? And maybe a small trip would be good too. The 10 of Wands can just be like getting in the car and driving somewhere. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It doesn't have to be a far out distance either. Okay, love with a capital L. All right, moving on to those that are single and looking. Can you find love? Sure you can. It's a little trickier actually as we're going here in November. Two of Swords sometimes is not knowing like where to look. And one of the things that you can do is just make a decision that you're prioritizing. The relationship is with yourself, actually, first and foremost. So healing, getting rest, finding balance, getting clear on what you want. Towards the end of the month, we have what could be somewhat of a divine partnership because we have two Wands cards, but a fire sign could be coming through. There could also be a Libra. So Libra and then a fire sign are the two energies that present themselves. This is really more about you taking care of yourself. As we focus into December, that's when it's a little easier for you to find what you're looking for or to deepen existing friendships and bonds because we have a lot of water coming through. And the only thing that is important here, though, is to take care of your health. I feel like almost like 45 days of this 60-day reading is about grounding, recalibrating, getting what you need, avoiding burnout. And then towards the very last couple of weeks of December, that's when it all comes in. And what I love about this is it's friendship and it's love, and it could be a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Beautiful energy. So yes, you can find it, but it's towards the tail end of the 60-day period. The rest of this is about you taking care of yourself. Finally, if you're single and happy, good for you. I'm always happy to read for single and happy. Some of the same energy applies to you. You could be fighting a legal battle, interestingly enough, or creating a new structure in your life, creating balance. What I like about November for you is increased stability, perhaps some new resources coming in, and you never know until you ask. That's what the Queen of Pentacles is saying, and the King of Wands brings it into full gear. So really focus on self-care and looking at your finances and your overall schedule, and then plan a vacation. You're overdue for some time for yourself. You can go with a friend, you can go on your own, you can meet new people while you're doing this. Overall, it's important to reset. So don't work as hard in December, work a little bit harder in November. And then when it comes to things in your life, you might just be ready to turn a new leaf and do something completely counter to what people expect from you. Good for you. Now it's your opportunity to ask one more question. Anything that I have yet to look at, let's see what Spirit has to say. Go ahead and think about this question. I'm going to do a very gentle shuffle here, and let's pull a card. All right, you got an ace. It's good. So if you ask me a yes or no, it's a yes. There is a caveat with it, though. With the Ace of Cups in reverse, it's asking, do you believe? And does this resonate on a heart level? Is it what you want? If it's what you want, you can do it. But if you don't believe in yourself, work on that. There may also be something that you need to do as far as letting go of, sometimes it's even like guilt, like I'm guilty that I want to go forward on this. Remember, this is your chance to create better balance in your life. So part of that includes love and joy. So we see a lot of partnership energy that wants to come through, a lot of creativity. And the Ace of Cups is about allowing yourself to be happy, allowing yourself to pursue that dream. If not now, then when? And you need to fill your own cup up. So the most important thing you could do for yourself right now is something that is fulfilling, that is satisfying. And this will help you have more than enough for everybody else in your life as well. What a magical way to end this reading. Thank you so much for your patience. Again, like I said, I always want to focus on the quality, not necessarily the speed or the quantity. And I hope that is worth the wait. I always give 110%. Congratulations for getting through this 60-day period. We'll be doing some special celebrations as I get closer to the end of the year. But in the meantime, this is going to give you what you need to navigate. If you enjoyed this, please show a little bit of love and support. It goes a long way, and it's 100% free. It also helps other people find the video. So one way you can do it is to hit the thumbs up. If you've been a long time lurker but never subscribed, why not? Subscribe, it's free. You'll also get a notification when things come through, and you can control the frequency of notifications by clicking that little bell icon. If you would like to give back a little bit more, you can do it in a sustaining way. Set it and forget it by becoming a member. You can also do a one-time contribution by adding a sticker to your comment. And if you prefer to maybe not do so much on the Google platform, you can also find me on PayPal. All of these links, by the way, you can go to my website and get them there, nicholasashbaugh.com. And from there, you can also follow me on my official social platforms. I'm always, my full name on the major platforms anyway, it's Nicholas Ashbaugh, just as printed here. I'm also on Blue Sky too, nicholasashbaugh.com there. Okay, folks. That is everything. Thank you so much for being the absolute best part of what I do here on YouTube and for being so supportive and understanding. From my heart to yours, have a great end of this year, a great 2-month period. Let's keep in touch. I'm here every day for a daily, every weekend for a Sunday collective. And I'm also here with any sort of celestial, like whether it's a new moon or an eclipse or whatever, I'm here for those readings too. All right, take care of yourselves. Lots of love and light.